Mercedes Mone, formerly known as Sasha Banks, has made her return to the world of professional wrestling. Our girl is back. The statement maker, the blueprint, the CEO of the women's division, has debuted for New Japan Pro Wrestling. God's favorite host, the host with the Moist here on the Flex Zone podcast, only place giving you your sports how you want it when you need it. Here to talk about it. I'm going to break it down, tell you what it all means, and why you should be excited as the CEO is back to make that money and make a statement in the world of wrestling yet again. Here to make history. The Flex Zone podcast, I'm going to break it down right after this, guys. What is going on, Flex Zone family? Happy Wednesday to you. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. That means tonight, later on, we'll be live for AEW Dynamite, live stream and watch along. AEW, New Era of Dynamite, debuts in Seattle. First AEW of 2023 should be a big show. Hometowns of Darby, Allen, Bryan Danielson, and Swerve Strickland as well. And all three will be in action tonight. But the big news, Mercedes Mone is in New Japan Pro Wrestling. You heard the rumor, you heard the innuendo, you heard the speculation of where she was going to show up for months. We've seen her on red carpets. We've seen her walking runways. Now we see her back in her habitat of the professional wrestling ring. She had been teasing it a few weeks ago, training in Mexico. She was there with Trinity, aka Naomi. Bailey was there. She was reunited with Dax and Cash of FTR. They had a photo op, which was fantastic. Mercedes, which is her government name, Mercedes Varnado, now going by Mercedes Mone. We heard the speculation. We heard the trademarks and patents into the trademark office the past few months of Mercedes Mone, statement maker, all of these things for intellectual property for wrestling to be used. It's amazing that she is now in New Japan Pro Wrestling. She debuted last night. I'm not going to lie, New Japan comes on at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love professional wrestling, but I have to be up very early myself, and I could not stay up to watch the event, which I heard was a banger at 3 a.m. local time. But we knew she was coming. The rumors are true. She is now in New Japan Pro Wrestling and will also be able to use and dabble with their sister company, Stardom. And I also think she has some availability to show up in the United States for some indie dates and other promotion by the name of All Elite Wrestling, possibly next week in LA, January 11th, as Saraya, the former Page's mystery partner, against Dr. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. Now, people got to stop being negative in the WWE and internet wrestling community. These robots, these shills, these individuals who are so negative when an individual from WWE goes out and blazes their own path and does things their way. They're calling Sasha a crybaby, Sasha difficult to work with, Sasha taking her ball and going home. I remember Stone Cold did the same thing also. Now, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying standing up for what you believe in is very, very important. If you look at the women's division in WWE right now, the booking, some of the way that the returns and some of these feuds and stables have been booked, it has been not up to standard. It's been lacking, especially on SmackDown, which we saw Ronda Rousey as the SmackDown Women's Champion, which they wanted Sasha to come back and defend and lose to Ronda Rousey and Naomi to go against Bianca Belair, which is dumb when they were a tag team to begin with, and they were kind of thrown together as well. The booking and treatment of the women's division, yeah, they may get main events. Yeah, they may get 15, 20-minute matches, and they may have a few bangers here and there. Bianca and Becky had a few last year at SummerSlam and WrestleMania. But most of the time, the matches are 3-4 minute matches, and most of them aren't living up to the expectation that women like Sasha and Bailey made at NXT Brooklyn TakeOver. One of the greatest, probably the greatest women's match in history. People are saying that the return fell flat, that it could have been better. People are saying that there was no significance to it, that they were expecting a big pop like Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. First and foremost, there are still COVID restrictions in China. Secondly, I don't think that place was sold out. as we have seen in previous years before the pandemic at the Tokyo Dome with 40, 50,000 plus. I think it was a limited capacity, and I think New Japan is, I think, still recovering from the pandemic and probably having the toughest time out of most wrestling promotions as they have been hit in that area the hardest in Japan, in China with the COVID. And it's now coming back in this time of year and resurging. So I don't think it was a full capacity. I think a lot of New Japan fans don't necessarily make the biggest pops for a lot of their stars, even in my opinion, the Okadas, the Jay Whites, the Ospreys, even the Omega, in my opinion, reaction when he won last night and beat Osprey in that match wasn't as loud as it may be. But I tell you one thing, if Sasha debuts next week in LA for AEW, there will be a gigantic pop. She's Hollywood, she's a boss, she's big time, and she would fit right in with what they're trying to do and what she's trying to do as being the statement maker that she is. Now, I do think her confronting Kairi sets up the match that will happen next month, February 18th, I believe, in San Jose for the IWGP Women's Championship, which will be Kairi's second defense of the title. I'm intrigued to see how they're going to book this match. Do they go with the hot hand and give Mercedes Mone the belt, who is the CEO of the women's division, as she proclaimed? And in my opinion, do they go with Kairi getting the win, maybe setting up a rematch down the line? Or is this something that maybe leads to Mercedes winning and carrying this division, much like she did in WWE, being a statement maker, being someone who makes history? Yet again, honestly, I could make a case for either or, but Kairi's second defense is going to be intriguing what New Japan decides to do with their women's championship booking. And the report that came out a few weeks ago about Sasha hitting her peak, she's only 30 years old, just entering the prime of her life, prime of her career, saying that she is not on the level of a Charlotte or a Becky and doesn't deserve that type of money. Last time I checked, Charlotte is nearly 40 years old and has not gotten any better, has not put anybody else over, has not helped elevate the women's division. Becky, in my opinion, if Nia Jax didn't punch her in her nose, she would not be the man, big time Bex that we see now. And honestly, turning her heel last year by the Vince McMahon regime was one of the stupidest decisions of 2022. Sasha is as good as anybody in the ring. If you ask me, she's number one on the women's bingo card, the women's list of professional wrestlers. She can talk the talk, she can walk the walk, on the runway, in the ring, outside of the ring, in major Hollywood productions like The Mandalorian, on a movie screen, on your TV screens, on your phones, on your tablets. Everywhere you look for this woman, she's big time. She has megastar written all over her, and she is just that. This is a moment. She makes history. She did it winning the SmackDown Women's Champion, being in a Hell in a Cell match for a woman against Charlotte. New Japan now. The situations where she had an NXT against Bayley. She is doing it yet again, and I'm very, very excited to see what she does next. And I think she may even still possibly show up for AEW as well with that Freedom New Japan stardom. They have a working relationship with AEW, and I think maybe even some dream matches with some of the AEW women. Some of the women she would love to work a strong style match with in Japan, like a Kairi and others. You can throw names, throw dream matches in the comments because we can now think about these things. She was announced a free agent as of January 1st. She's now able to take bookings. I'm sure we will not just see her in New Japan and Stardom, but we will see her in other promotions like All Elite Wrestling as well. Great to see her being happy, living her best life, not having the shackles, the chains of the Vince McMahon terrible women's booking that is still somewhat going on today. Mercedes Mone is just that. She's money. She's big time. The entrance, the new theme music, it's starting to grow on me. I think it has big time potential with the 90s era hip hop beat. Money in the background, showing her vignettes. She looks great. She looks like in phenomenal shape as always. The hair, the look, she's always on fleek, as they would say. She's on 10. She is stunning, gorgeous, amazing woman. She can switch it up. And I love her as a heel personally. Is her best role. And why not have her come back as a heel? She left WWE as a heel. Oh, she's hard to work with. She's difficult to work with. She's going to walk out when things get hard. When she doesn't get her way, she's going to throw a tantrum and leave. Mercedes Mone is back in the world of professional wrestling, and we should be happy. We should be grateful. She's just entering her prime, and the fact that WWE thinks that she has reached her peak is laughable, to say the least. Now, in my opinion, I do think she can eventually, maybe in 2 to 3 years, go back to WWE after showing them what she's worth, since they don't appreciate it. putting on banger after banger after banger, in the words of Sheamus, against Kairi, women in AEW, competing in multiple promotions, being the statement maker, the CEO of the women's division that she is, the blueprint that other women look up to in this industry and want to be like. Black and brown girls from all over the world, having that transgenerational ability and talent. Mercedes Mone, Sasha Banks has that, and now she's in New Japan Pro Wrestling. She will compete, it looks like, in February against Kairi for the IWGP Women's Championship. Hey, at this point, I might just put the belt on her. You know, her and Kairi are going to do everything in their power to make a banger statement match to set off 2023 for not only women's wrestling, but wrestling in general. And we'll probably have one of the better matches of 2023. I'm excited. Be grateful. Don't look into, it wasn't a huge pop. Don't look into, no one cared. People were sitting on their hands and it was quiet. They know who she is. And if they don't know, they will soon find out how great Mercedes Mone is and why she is an important pillar to women's wrestling as a whole, and wrestling is better when she is indeed in the conversation and she is indeed putting on bangers that she is capable of doing in the ring. She can talk on the mic, can be heel, can be babyface. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think about the Mercedes Mone debut in New Japan. Why? Last name, nepotism, and Becky Lynch and others they probably see over her like a Ronda Rousey, which is despicable in my opinion. She's just entering her prime. I think some of her best work is ahead of her, and she will not only be in New Japan and Stardom. I look for her in AEW, and I look for her potentially to go back to WWE in 2 or 3 years and get what she's worth times 10 and ask for anything she wants in a blank check, because she does deserve it. Mercedes Mone, she's now back. She's in New Japan. Debuted last night at Wrestle Kingdom 17. Sound off in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Smash that like button if you're new. Smash it in general. Go ahead and Liger bomb it. Backdrop that bell. Subscribe. Super kick that subscribe button. Give it a Seth Rollins stomp. Only place giving you sports how you want it when you need it. We'll be live. We the ones tonight. AEW Dynamite. First Dynamite of 2023. Debuting in Seattle. Big show, new era Dynamite, new production, new stage set possibly. So a lot of things to look forward to tonight for AEW. Will be live. Hit the bell to know when we're live, and we can check that out as well. God's favorite host, the host of the Moist. Only place giving you sports how you want when you need it. Sound off. Let me know what you think about Mercedes Mone debuting and what's next for her and what you can see her doing in 2023. Does she show up in AEW? What else does she do? Because this is not the first and only stop. This is not only the first stop. This is not only the only stop. It's not the first. This is the first stop, but not the only stop. Excuse me. I'm excited. She will be around 2023. Look for her real soon. And hey, maybe Trinity joins her wherever she decides to show up as well. Maybe they work some tag matches and things of that nature as well. Only place giving you sports how you want and we need it. Let me know your thoughts on Mercedes Mone, and let me know your thoughts on Wrestle Kingdom. Any other things you want to talk about, we'll be talking about it tonight as you watch AEW as well. God's favorite host signing off. Thank you again. Subscribe, like, and hit that bell. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you later for AEW Dynamite. Peace.